Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Danvat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hari Bol to Pavan Prabhuji and Aarti Mataji for leading the chanting this morning. Thank you all. So let's continue with our Mangalacharan prayers, bhajan and then reading. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshadharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. Yes, anybody would like to try singing our prayer today?
I can try, Prabhu.
Amresh Prabhu? Yes, please go ahead, Prabhu. Yeah.
Prabhu tava pada yuge mora nivedana. Prabhu tava pada yuge mora nivedana. Nahi magi deha sukha vidyadhana jana. Nahi magi deha sukha vidyadhana jana. Nahi magi swargara moksha nahi magi. Nakori prathana kono vibhutir lagi. Nija karma guna dosi je je janma pai. Janame janame jeno tava nama guna gaye. Ei matra asha mama tomara charane. Ahoy tu ki bhakti hriday jage anukshane. Vishaye je priti heve आशाए आमार सेई मत प्रीति हो चरणे तुम्हार विपदे संपदे ताहा ठाकु समभावे तीने दीने वृद्धि हो नामेर प्रभावे पशु पक्षी होए थाकी स्वर्गे वा निरये तव भक्तिराहो भक्ति विनोद हृदये तव भक्तिराहो भक्ति विनोद हृदये हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahasaya ki jai. Geetavali ki jai. Shri Shikshashtakam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, thank you so much, Amresh Prabhu. Very beautiful, very nice. Always transport us to Vrindavan with your singing.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Okay, anybody else would like to take up the service of reading the translation? You want to read, Amrish Prabhu?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
My Lord, I submit the following prayer at your holy feet. I do not pray to you for physical leisure or for learning, wealth or followers. I do not pray for heaven or salvation. I do not pray for any of these opulences. In whatever birth I take, wherever my karma leads me, let me sing the glories of your holy name birth after birth. This alone is my cherished hope, my aspiration, my prayer at your lotus feet. Let causeless and uninterrupted devotion awaken within my heart and flow towards you. Let me love your lotus feet as much as I now love sense gratification. Transfer my affection from the objects of senses to your lotus feet. In danger or success, good fortune or disaster, let me remain in equipoise, and let my affection for you increase day by the influence of holy name. Whether I live as bird or beast, in heaven or in hell, let the humble Bhakti Vinoda always cherish Bhakti in his heart of hearts. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Anything that you want to share, your reflections, anything that you like from this bhajan?
I think it's mm, in number 6. Tells about the situation, different situations, disaster or good fortune, or happy, sad, danger, success, and in every situation, we stay equipoise and chant Harinam. I mean, these states, they don't stay long, but Harinam gives us that hope and belief that we continue to live a humble, grounded, and seva-vritti life.
Mm. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, just like the seasons change, it's like cyclical, right? It's after winter, now we have spring, and after spring we will have summer, and then we'll have again winter, fall, and then winter, right? So these things will never remain forever. And that is the nature of this physical, of this material world that we live in. So yeah, so all these things will come and go, but the only thing that should remain constant is we remain equipoised, um, completely fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord, and by remembering the Lord through his name, through his form, through his qualities, through his pastimes, through his devotees. So that should be the only constant in the life of a devotee. Yes, and that was the theme that we kind of wrapped up yesterday. Thank you so much again. Once again, this is glorifying verse 4 of Shishikshashtakam. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kapitam va jagadish kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahituki tvai. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim. We don't want wealth, we don't want followers, and we don't want any attraction to the opposite sex. Right? Only thing that we want, mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir, only bhakti. And that was the title of the chapter that we read yesterday, that bhakti, the pure devotional service, is the perfection of life. And just as what you mentioned, Amresh Prabhu, yes, so this was kind of the closing line that Srila Prabhupada said in teachings of Kapil Dev, that we only have to be determined in our devotion. And that is exactly what you just said, that we have to remain equipoised, we have to remain fixed in our devotion. The rest will all follow. This is the essence of Lord Kapil's instructions to his mother. So how beautiful is that? You chose to talk about something that Prabhupada ended yesterday. Yes, this whole paragraph is very, very important actually. Yes, Prabhupada said, if we do not understand this philosophy, we will be purified if we just hear about what Krishna says. This is the whole process of Hari Sankirtan. One doesn't even have to understand what this Hare Krishna is. One only has to hear to be purified. And unless one is purified, one cannot understand God. There are many contaminations in the heart and in this world. And people in this age are engaged in all these sinful activities. The whole world is only revolving around these things. Yet despite this, we have to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. There may be many obstacles, but they can all be transcended by Krishna's mercy. We only have to be determined in our devotion. The rest will follow. How easy is that? We just have to have determination. Just have to hear. That's it. We don't have to pay even a single penny. We don't have to do anything fancy. Right? Just simple. Lord has made it so simple for at least for people like me who are so lazy. So, with the simple process, we can attain our original identity. You can attain pure love of God. Everything will follow, as Prabhupada says. Just become sincere. Just become determined. And yeah, this last verse itself, I think we read here. Those persons, therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord, engage in intensive practice of devotional service, and that is the only means to attain the final perfection of life. And I was remembering yesterday at our workplace, we had our CIO. He was giving a podcast. So he usually invites one other leader from the company, and so they were talking, and then he basically gives all kinds of updates in that meeting, and about the business progress and our goals for this next month, etc. And then finally, he invites this another person, and then so they talk briefly. It's only 15-20 minutes podcast. So in there, this other gentleman, he was talking about something like which was very fascinating and kind of related with this. So he was talking about how practice makes perfect, right? That's a saying in corporate world. Practice makes perfect, and then they were saying that but practice makes perfect, but perfect practice brings out the best performance, right? So and then they were giving the analogy of how a sports person. Usually, if you see, most of the people here in America, as your colleagues and most of the people, they love sports, and their kids love sports, and most of their kids play either soccer, baseball, or whatever, basketball. So anyway, so this person was saying that his sons, his elder son is now going to college, and he's already in his baseball team, and so he was giving the analogy of how sports people, they spend 90% of their time on the practice field, right? The practicing, like, because he says he used to take him for practices. So now eventually his thing has paid off, where his son is now in the college team. But so the point that he was making is that 90% of a sports person's time goes in practice, and only 10% is actually in a game, in a performance, right? So how much important the practice is, because practice leads to perfection. That is what their mantra is, and perfect practice leads to better performance or best performance, and that is what Prabhupada is saying here. The final perfection, if you attain perfection, final perfection of life, then we have to keep our minds fixed on the Lord and engage in intensive practice. And it correlates exactly with our spiritual life also, because we have 24 hours. Each one of us has 24 hours in the day. If 10% of that, which is only 2.4 hours, roughly 2 hours, is what we do in the morning, this morning sadhana, where we attend Mangalarti, we chant the holy names, we sing these beautiful bhajans, given by our acharyas, we read, right? So we are fixing our mind on the Lord. In the 10% that we do is actually the actual performance, but the 90% is really our practice, or should be our practice. Right? So 90% we have to keep our mind fixed on the Lord by remembrance of the Lord. But actually Krishna is so merciful, so kind. He doesn't even want the 90%. At least we give this 10%, sincerely and attentively, then the affection will actually not automatically grow in the other 90% of our time, the other 22 hours of our day. So that is the beauty of spiritual life. So you just start with a single step, single baby step, and Krishna is so kind and so merciful that that one step we take, he takes 1,000 steps towards us. So anyways, I was just remembering that from yesterday's discussion and context. Okay, so let's continue. So today we want to start a new book, because we completed this beautiful book, The Teachings of Lord Kapiladev, and the next book on the list we have, I thought we have actually Sri Ishopanishad and Krishna, but I think since morning we want to start with a big book, and it's, I think, a nice book, so we can start with the Krishna book, because again, with that theme that Prabhupada was just saying, we have to remove the Trishna of this world, and we remove the Trishna of this world by focusing on the lotus feet of Krishna. And when we focus on the lotus feet of Krishna, we are fixed on the lotus feet, with our mind, then the face is the, like they say, face is the mirror of the mind, right? So, and Krishna book is the beautiful summary of the 10th canto, which is actually the beautiful face of Sri Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, when he left this mortal world, he actually did translations or purports of only of the first 13 chapters of the 10th canto, right? But he compiled this Krishna book because he knew that if he's not able to finish the whole Bhagavatam, then at least he has given the world the beautiful, face of Sri Krishna from the various pastimes that are described in the 10th canto. So this book is a summary of 10th canto. So at least Prabhupada, by his mercy, he gave us this in the early 70s. So at least we have the whole 10th canto summarized in the Krishna book. So let's start this book on this very auspicious day today. And thanking Srila Prabhupada for his kindness and compassion towards all of us, that, like he was saying, just we have to hear about Krishna and all these wonderful books. And we read Prabhupada's Vani through these books. They help us remember the Lord. They help us hear the instructions of the Lord and his pure devotees. So we'll start this book today. Alright. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A summary study of Srila Vyasadev's Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Let's start with dedication. Dedication. To my father, Gaur Mohan De, 1849 to 1930, a pure devotee of Krishna, who raised me as a Krishna conscious child from the beginning of my life. In my boyhood ages, he instructed me how to play the mridanga. He gave me Radha Krishna Vigraha to worship, and he gave me Jagannath Rath to duly observe the festival as my childhood play. He was kind to me, and I imbibed from him the ideas later on solidified by my spiritual master, the Eternal Father, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Next is the preface. Let's continue with that. From Apple. Everybody is looking for Krishna. So this Apple is the Apple Studios of Beatles, George Harrison. Everybody is looking for Krishna. Some don't realize that they are, but they are. Krishna is God, the source of all that exists, the cause of all that is, was, or ever will be. As God is unlimited, He has many names. Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, Rama, all are Krishna, all are one. God is not abstract. He has both the impersonal and personal aspects to His personality, which is supreme, eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. As a single drop of water has the same qualities as an ocean of water, so has our consciousness the qualities of God's consciousness. But through our identification and attachment with material energy, physical body, sense pleasures, material possessions, ego, etc., our true transcendental consciousness has been polluted, and like a dirty mirror, it is unable to reflect a pure image. With many lives, our association with the temporary has grown. This impermanent body, a bag of bones and flesh, is mistaken for our true self, and we have accepted this temporary condition to be final. Through all ages, great saints have remained as living proof that this non-temporary, permanent state of God consciousness can be revived in all the living souls. Each soul is potentially divine. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, steady in the self, being free from all material contamination, the yogi achieves the highest perfectional stage of happiness, in touch with the Supreme Consciousness. Yoga, a scientific method for God, self-realization, is the process by which we purify our consciousness, stop further pollution, and arrive at the state of perfection, full knowledge and bliss. If there is a God, I want to see Him. It is pointless to believe in something without proof. And Krishna consciousness and meditation are methods where you can actually obtain God perception. You can actually see God and hear Him, play with Him. It might sound crazy, but He is actually there, actually with you. There are many yogic paths, Raja, Jnana, Hatha, Kriya, Karma, Bhakti, which are all acclaimed by the masters of each method. Swami Bhaktivedanta is, as his title says, a Bhakti yogi, following the path of devotion. by serving God through each thought, word, and deed, and by chanting of His holy names. The devotee quickly develops God consciousness by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One inevitably arrives at Krishna consciousness. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. I request that you take advantage of this book, Krsna, and enter into its understanding. I also request that you make an appointment to meet your God now through the self-liberating process of yoga, union, and give peace a chance. George Harrison, Apple Corps Limited, 3 Savile Row, London, W1, Gerard, Telex, Appcore, London. Okay, so this was the preface by George Harrison from the Beatles in London, and he composed this beautiful song, my beautiful Lord, I really want to see you, I really want to be with you. So that's so nice. That reminded, that preface, or that introduction just reminded of that. Okay, preface. Nivrattatarshir upagiyamanaad bhavaushadhachotra manobhiramat ka uttamashloka gunanuvadat puman varijjeta vina pashugnat. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.1.4. In the Western countries, when someone sees the cover of a book like Krishna, he immediately asks, who is Krishna? Who is the girl with Krishna? Etc. The immediate answer is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How is that? Because he conforms in exact detail to descriptions of the Supreme Being, the Godhead. In other words, Krishna is the Godhead because he is all attractive. Outside the principle of all attraction, there is no meaning to the word Godhead. How is it that one can be all attractive? First of all, if one is very wealthy, if he has great riches, he becomes attractive to the people in general. Similarly, if someone is very powerful, he also becomes attractive. And if someone is very famous, he also becomes attractive. And if someone is very beautiful or wise or unattached to all kinds of possessions, he also becomes attractive. So, from practical experience, we can observe that one is attractive due to wealth, power, fame, beauty, wisdom, and renunciation. One who is in possession of all 6 of these opulences at the same time, who possesses them to an unlimited degree, is understood to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These opulences of the Godhead are delineated by Parashar Muni, a great Vedic authority. We have seen many rich persons, many powerful persons, many famous persons, many beautiful persons, many learned and scholarly persons, and persons in the renounced order of life unattached to material possessions. But we have never seen any one person who is unlimitedly and simultaneously wealthy, powerful, famous, beautiful, wise, and unattached like Krishna in the history of humanity. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a historical person who appeared on this earth 5,000 years ago. He stayed on this earth for 125 years and played exactly like a human being, but his activities were unparalleled. From the very moment of his appearance to the moment of his disappearance, every one of his activities is unparalleled in the history of the world. And therefore, anyone who knows what we mean by Godhead will accept Krishna as the personality, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to the Godhead, and no one is greater than him. That is the import of the familiar saying, God is great. There are various classes of men in the world who speak of God in different ways, but according to the Vedic literatures and according to the great acharyas, the authorized persons versed in the knowledge of God in all the ages, like Acharyas Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Vishnu Swami, Lord Chaitanya, and all their followers by disciplic succession, all unanimously agree that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as we, the followers of Vedic civilizations, are concerned, we accept the Vedic history of the whole universe, which consists of different planetary systems called Swargaloka or the higher planetary system, Martya Loka or the intermediary planetary system, and Patal Loka or the lower planetary system. The modern historians of this earth cannot supply historical evidences of events that occurred before 5,000 years ago. And the anthropologists say that 40,000 years ago, Homo sapiens had not appeared on this planet, because evolution had not reached that point. But the Vedic histories, such as the Puranas and the Mahabharata, relate human histories which extend millions and billions of years into the past. For example, from these literatures, we are given the histories of Krishna's appearances and disappearances millions and billions of years ago. In the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that both he and Arjuna had many, many births before, and that he, Krishna, could remember all of them, but Arjuna could not. This illustrates the difference between the knowledge of Krishna and that of Arjuna. Arjuna might have been a great warrior, a very cultured member of the Kuru dynasty, but after all, he was an ordinary human being, whereas Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the possessor of unlimited knowledge. Because he possesses unlimited knowledge, Krishna has a memory that is boundless. Krishna's knowledge is so perfect that he remembers all the incidents of his appearances, some millions and billions of years in the past. But Arjuna's memory and knowledge are limited by the time and space, for he is an ordinary human being. In the fourth chapter, Krishna states that he can remember instructing the lessons of the Bhagavad Gita some millions of years ago to the sun god, Vivaswan. Nowadays, it is the fashion of the atheistic class of men to try to become God by following some mystic process. Generally, the atheists claim to be God by dint of their imagination or their meditational prowess. Krishna is not that kind of God. He does not become God by manufacturing some mystic process of meditation, nor does he become God by undergoing the severe austerities of the mystic yogic exercises. Properly speaking, he never becomes God because he is the Godhead in all circumstances. Within the prison of his maternal uncle Kamsa, where his father and mother were confined, Krishna appeared outside his mother's body as the 400 Vishnu Narayan. Then he turned himself into a baby and told his father to carry him to the house of Nanda Maharaj and his wife Yashoda. When Krishna was just a small baby, the gigantic demoness Putana attempted to kill him. But when he sucked her breast, he pulled out her life. That is the difference between the real Godhead and a God manufactured in the mystic factory. Krishna had no chance to practice the mystic yoga process. Yet he manifested himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead at every step, from infancy to childhood, from childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to young manhood. In this book, Krishna, all of his activities as a human being are described. Although Krishna plays like a human being, he always maintains his identity as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Krishna is all attractive, one should know that all his desires should be focused on Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the individual person is the proprietor or master of his own body, but that Krishna, who is the super soul present in everyone's heart, is the supreme proprietor and supreme master of each and every individual body. As such, if we concentrate our loving propensities upon Krishna only, then immediately universal love, unity, and tranquility will be automatically realized. When one waters the root of a tree, he automatically waters the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. When one supplies food to the stomach, through the mouth, he satisfies all the various parts of the body. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's pause here. Again, the same principle here. That, if we are determined and are sincere in our devotion, everything else will follow. So, just similarly, Prabhupada is saying that if we supply food to the stomach, then automatically the whole body is nourished. We are able to move our hands, our legs, our feet, our eyes, ears, everything we can engage in the service of the Lord. We water the root, then the whole tree is nourished. So, like that, if we are, the only thing that we need is sincerity. And if we have sincerity to follow the instructions of the Acharyas, then everything else will follow automatically. Right? So that is the learning. And it's a very, very profound learning that Srila Prabhupada taught through his purports, through what Kapila Dev was teaching yesterday. And in terms of remembrance of the Lord, like we said, so we are going through that journey right now. Every week we are trying to remember the Lord through different activities as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Right. So yesterday we started the week 6 as Tejas, or that I am the Tejas, Shasmi Vibhava. So I am the heat. I am the heat in the fire. Right. So again, we should have that fire. I was remembering the Lord while eating yesterday my lunch. That yes, Krishna is the digestive fire who helps us nourish the food that is supplied to the stomach. Right. So we supply we supply the food to the stomach, and the stomach digests with the digestive fire. It digests everything and it nourishes the entire body, right? So that's the exact thing that we have to remember, that Krishna is the source, and if we are connected to the source, then of course then we will reach the destination. So we have to connect to the source, and we connect to the source by following the instructions of our acharyas. So yeah, we can remember the Lord as Tejas Shasmi Vibhavaso, and the heat and the fire. And yeah, we should have that fire in our belly. We should have that fire of determination. Right? We've been circling in this world for millions and billions, like Prabhupada explaining here. Krishna and Arjuna both have had millions and millions of births, but we don't remember all of those. But the Lord remembers, because He is our eternal friend, seated in the heart as Paramatma, always there with us as the bird. One bird that flies from one tree to another tree, but the other bird is observing. Other bird is like a constant companion. It will also fly with us. So yeah, we should have that intense fire of determination, of not Trishna, fire of, we have been running behind Maya. The Trishna, like we said, Trishna is the hankering and lamentation. So that we should not, that we have been running after Trishna for so many billions of lifetimes. Now we should focus back on Krishna, right? So it's very nice that we are starting this book as we dovetail our journey from Trishna of this world to Krishna of that world, from material world to spiritual world. That is our goal, and that is the goal that we learn from our acharyas, from Raghunath Das Goswami, who is our Prayojanacharya, who teaches us what is the goal of life. The goal of life is to develop our love of Godhead and go back home, back to Godhead. And as Prabhupada is saying, we can only go back home if we are pure. And the purity comes by simple process of Shravanam Kirtanam, by just hearing about the Lord, hearing about His pastimes, glorifying the Lord through Kirtanam, by chanting His holy names, and Vishnu Smaranam, as we are trying to remember the Lord. So yeah, if we do this sincerely in this 10% of our time in the 2 hours, then the Lord is very kind. He will expand Himself into the remaining 22 hours, just as He expanded as Vaman Dev, and Bali Maharaj told him as a little dwarf Brahmana who came to ask for some charity, and he said, "Oh, I just want land as much as I can cover in 3 steps." And Bali Maharaj was very proud. He said, "What? To a king like me, you're asking just 3 steps? That is very childish. You can ask anything. You can ask palaces, kingdoms. I can give you everything. What is this? Just 3. Even if you want 3 steps of land." But he said, "No, that's what I want. I just want 3 steps of land." And then he says, "Well, I can give you, at least if you want, I can give you my 3 steps instead of your 3 steps, because your 3 steps are so tiny," as a little dwarf boy. And so he was getting proud of his possessions. And then what happened? That 3 steps covered the whole universe, and even when crossed beyond this material universe, through the foot toe of the Lord, the shell of the material universe was also pierced, and that's how Ganga is flowing into our universe. But the whole point is that, yes, as Vamanadev expanded himself, so Krishna, he knows how to expand. So we just have to give him 1 step, and then he will take the whole remaining 22 hours, and he will give us the remembrance. So that is the mood with which we continue to hear from Srila Prabhupada through these beautiful books. Okay, let's hear other reflections, comments. Anybody else would like to share anything that you liked, that you loved, or that you learned today, or through your remembrances of the Lord? Hopefully you have not forgotten. Krishna will never let you forget. So we started our journey with Rasoham of Sukhanteya. So even though we are on week 6, we are talking about, or week 6 or week 7, I don't know about which. Yeah, I think week 7 probably. We are talking about the heat and the fire, but Krishna is still the taste of water. Krishna is still the light of the sun and the moon. Krishna is still the Pranava in Sarva Vedeshu as Om. He is still the Shabda K as the beautiful chirping of the birds. He is still there as Parusham Rishu, as the ability in man, and he is now there as yes, last week we did the anybody remembers what we did last week? And then this week is, of course, let's see. Hopefully, nobody forgot. I'm just trying to test your memory.
The smell.
Huh?
Punya Gandhi smell.
Fragrance, Prabhu.
Yes. Okay. Very nice. So all of you remember. I was the one who forgot. Yes, Punyagandha Prithiviyam, the fragrance, original fragrance, and now this week is the heat. I'm the heat of fire. Tejas Chashmi Vibhavasau. So yes, anybody like to share anything? Aarti Mataji, want to say something? How do you remember Krishna yesterday or through this week?
Hey, Prabhu, like while cooking food, I know we should not smell, but sometimes, like, we are helpless that while cooking food, we smell the fragrance, the aroma of spices and all those veggies we use in while cooking for him. So yeah, while cooking, I remember Krishna. Then while potting, while putting potting soil in the pots, that fragrance remind me of Krishna. And while I was preparing pots for planting flowers, my little one, he started rolling on the that soil. He just took the scoop of soil and put it on the deck, and he started rolling, and all his uh, PJ and hair and face of soil was all over him. So yeah, instead of getting angry, I started laughing, and my Prabhuji was saying that you'll have to give him bath, and you are laughing that you have to do extra work. That it remind me the past time when Krishna used to play when he was kid, and he used to roll and eat soil. He's doing like not eating, but he's rolling in the soil. That yeah, that remind me past time of Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So beautiful. Yes. Balaramji wants to be with Krishna, so he is rolling in the earth, in the soil. As Krishna says, I'm the fragrance of the earth. Right? So yes, so Balaram as the topmost devotee of Krishna, he is following in the footsteps of Krishna.
By mercy of you all, Prabhuji, by mercy of you and
Let's see.
all of the devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and the Lord Himself. That was so nice. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, anybody else would like to say anything? Okay, thank you all then. We'll pause here for today and this beautiful start of this wonderful journey. This is going to be a long journey. I think there are 90 chapters in the 10th canto. So it's almost like Prabhupada Leelamrit, where it took us almost a year plus. But we just didn't want that journey to stop. So and this is such a wonderful book describing the beautiful form of the Lord from the 10th canto. So yes, it was a very nice start to this book, and hopefully we can continue with all of your wonderful association and reflections and learning and progress back towards the spiritual abode, back home, back to Godhead. Thank you. We'll end with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Krishna ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
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 Hare Krishna, everyone.